Hi, Sheng here. I help people and organizations think through the toughest problems. A few weeks back, I introduced a series of 10 empowering mind maps designed to train us to think without fear and boundaries, to explore our deepest desires, and transform our lives. Since then, I've gotten a lot of great feedback from my Mind Map Nation community as well as the audience here. So I figured I would share a few more walkthroughs as we go into New Year's planning. The map we're going to go through is number 5. What would my perfect day look like? The purpose for this map is so that we can visualize our ideal states and also identify what matters. This is really key because let's say, throughout our weeks and lives, we don't really typically think about what is actually like the perfect day, right? Because it's difficult. There's no such thing as perfection. However, we can bring it a lot closer to that. And part of it is at this point, we should also, and even if most of your week is imperfect or stressful or whatever it is, even trying to carve out one day, let's say on the weekends, to have your ideal day is extremely revitalizing. Even if you can't do all of these in one setting or in one day, you can try to adopt part of it into your daily routine. But you have to be able to identify what that looks like first. All right, so let's dive in. What we have is it starts in the morning routine. So this is the first 3 hours. If I had my perfect day, it would be I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would do my meditation. So, and within meditation, there's actually 3 ways that I would stack it. The first one is Vipassana, which is really a mindfulness type of meditation. And then there is also Metta, which is really funneling my goodwill into the world as well as into myself. And then there's also visualization. So this is priming myself for the day. This is imagining myself winning or recalling a winning state. Then we have exercise. So after the meditation component is going out into the world. Let's say it's taking a run or doing calisthenics or cycling. And then there's getting ready, coming back, showering, having breakfast, cooking the perfect breakfast. And then finally settling down, going out to my cafe to journal. So that's the first 3 hours of the day, which is focusing on the mind, body, and solo stillness. Then we have 8 to 12 p.m. noon, the first 4 hours of the workday. So this is where these are the best productive hours in my day. Rather than spending it, let's say, dispersing it into the internet with other people, it's actually about creation. For me, creation is a core part of what I do now, and I want to save the best hours for it. The first 4 hours, I want to do writing. So part of it is actually, let's say, doing the newsletters. And then there is filming or writing, prepping for the YouTube videos. A lot of that takes so much cognitive energy. Creation is a hard process, so I want to save that for the beginning of the day before I get tired. And then there is the afternoon, let's say after lunch. I put 1 here because, I missed that. An additional note for making a good low carb, afternoon tanking lunch. So 1 to 5 is learning and engaging. What that means is this is where I can have, let's say, reading, watching YouTube videos or listening to podcasts or audiobooks, right? So that means actually this is where I can just fully absorb new knowledge. And then there's also meetings with other people. So that could be interviewing people for my upcoming podcast. And then there is coaching, consulting, as well as catch-ups. Finally, there's community. So this is engaging with the Mind Map Nation community over power hours, office hours, roundtables, events. Then we get into the evening, which is 5 to 9, another 4 hours, where I can actually hang out with people. This is more like free time of sorts, right? So either in real life or catching up over calls or cleaning the place, meal prepping, after dinner walk. This is super important for me. It really kind of disperses the entire day's I wouldn't say stress, but more like tension, right? Because creating and learning are intense things. So I am naturally going to be more tense. Taking a breather after dinner is really healthy. And then finally, we have winding down, 9 to 10 p.m. So this is like the 1 hour where I could do a daily retrospective about essentially what happened during the day. This is part of remembrance, this is part of living a story-worthy life. I can think about what I want to do tomorrow so that I'm not scrambling. I have a pretty clear purpose as soon as I wake up. We also have meditation, Vipassana. So in my ideal day, I would actually do like, let's say 2 hours of meditation, right? 1 hour in the morning and then 1 hour in the evening, just to kind of defragment my mind, to decompress, and then finally getting ready and then slowing down and going to bed. Which then brings us full circle into the next day. So that then, if I did this 7 days a week, it would make the perfect week. Let's take a look at some of the connections now. And there's quite a few, especially around creation, learning, and socialization and maintaining. What we have here is, well, first of all, journaling, right? A lot of my journals are essentially muses and reflections of all my experiences. If you've been on the MindMap Nation website, you've probably seen the Steve Jobs quote where he says, creative people either have more experiences or think deeper about their experiences. These days, I feel like I'm doing both. Not only am I exposing myself to new experiences, I also reflect on the daily, which really has boosted my creativity to a massive amount. So in this way, that journaling is thinking deeply about those experiences, which then feeds into my newsletters, which also in turn feeds into YouTube videos, right? There's a whole pipeline behind it through life experience. And then we have the 4 hours here. So I can either create, or I can also spend it in deep learning, which is equally important at the end of the day, because there are multiple ways of learning. You can either do it through life experience, or you can do it through reading, watching, and listening. So that's another thing that I can stick in the best hours of my life or my day. The other thing is that deep learning also contributes to my newsletters, because it's often a combination of book learning plus life experience that make the best epiphanies. Which also, I put a note here is I actually need to make a lot more time for this, because these days I'm so busy operating and living and traveling that I haven't had a chance to really sit down and read, watch, and listen. Next, we have another relationship that we identify, which is engaging and learning fuels my creation, which then that creation drives motivation into learning and engaging more. There's actually a virtuous cycle here that I identified if I'm able to achieve it. Then we have socialize and maintain. And this is essentially free time in the evening. I don't have to hang out with people every day. Or it's not like I'm going to be cleaning and meal prepping every day. I just need to do that once a week, which opens up a lot of free time for deep learning. If I want to make time for this, then I can either do it in the morning during the creation time or during the maintenance time. And zooming out a little bit, this is my perfect day. While it's probably not realistic for me to reproduce this all the time, it's really important to know that, hey, it is possible to do this. So if I'm able to achieve this perfect day, let's say once a week or even once a month, it reminds me of how it feels to actually do some of these really rewarding things that mean a lot to me. Not only that, I can also pick and choose. Let's say the rest of the day is kind of shot, right, during the week because of, let's say, work or obligations. If I can carve out 3 hours during, or even 2 hours, or even 1 hour to do some of these things, I can actually chunk up my perfect day into more of an imperfect day to make it better as well. We can either do an entire full day and revitalize ourselves, or we can take it in piecemeal and enhance our daily lives. And in the process of mapping all of this out, I am visualizing or have visualized myself doing all these things, which is a powerful exercise in itself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like or subscribe button. And if you would like a more structured approach, as well as personalized feedback for your mind maps, be sure to check out MindMap Nation community, where I am running a live course. All right, guys, until next time, take care.